Okay, ethers is another group of organic compound wherein oxygen is bonded to two carbon atoms by a single bond. It will have a general formula of ROR or AROR, wherein the R are alkyl groups and or rather cycloalkyl, and AR is the benzene ring or aromatic group. Okay, so this is the R, O, and an R. R represents series of carbon atoms. The oxygen is sandwiched between them. Okay, so another ROR. Ang R naman dito ay composed of two carbon atoms, and the R is here is a cyclopentyl. The R group may or may not be the same. So pwedeng ito, CH3, CH3, parehas sila. Okay? They could have the same identity or pwede rin din naman na different identity. Okay? For as long as this side or the other side, both side rather, of that oxygen are series of carbon atom. Okay? So how do we name ethers? We have two types of naming, the common name and the IUPAC name. For common names of ethers, if they are unsymmetrical ethers, pag sinabing unsymmetrical, the R groups are not the same. Okay? So how do we name them? We just have to identify the name of the alkyl groups and then write them in alphabetical order, and at the last is ether. So for unsymmetrical ethers, they should composed of two, or rather they should have three words. So two words for the name of the alkyl groups being attached on the oxygen, and the last word ether. Okay, so for this example, this is the R and that's the O and another R. The identity are not the same. This is only one carbon atom, so that is methyl, and this has two carbon atom, and that is collectively known as ethyl. We have to arrange them alphabetically such that the name is ethyl methyl ether. It's composed of three words. Another example, so this is one R and this is another series of carbon R. The identity is ethyl and this is phenyl, so we have to arrange them alphabetically. This is ethyl phenyl ether. Now, for unsymmetrical ethers, unsymmetrical means the alkyl group attached on the oxygen are the same. So this is an methyl, another methyl. So we are not going to put methyl ether. Rather, ang gagamitin natin ay prefix na di. This one would be dimethyl ether. So for symmetrical ethers, it is composed of two words only because of the prefix di. Okay, so this is diethyl ether. Take note, for the common names of ethers is only applicable for simple ethers. So, pag complicated na yung structure, hindi na pwede ang common names. Hence, we use the IUPAC names. Paano ang naming ng IUPAC? Okay, we have to know that there would be new substituent for ethers, and they are collectively known as alkoxy. Okay, alkoxy is different from alkyl because alkyl is just R. If that is an alkoxy, meron siyang oxygen. So, combination of oxygen and alkyl group is known as alkoxy. So, this is a methyl group with an oxygen. So, this one would be named as methoxy. An ethyl group with an oxygen is methoxy, and so on. So, propoxy will have 3 carbon atoms with an oxygen on it. Okay, so how do we name ethers? We have to identify the longest chain. That longest chain of carbon atom is the one to become the parent chain. Those are not included in the parent chain will be another alkyl with an oxygen. So therefore, we have to change the name of the alkyl group ending YL into an oxy. So, like this one, methyl siya, pero may oxygen, naging methoxy. Ethyl group siya, pero may oxygen, so therefore it is ethoxy. Okay? And then we have to number it again. Then we have to number the parent chain, either left to right, right to left, but our main goal is to come up with the lowest number. Okay, so for this example, this one is having an alkyl group on the left with one carbon atom. However, the alkyl group attached on the right side of the oxygen is having 4 carbon atoms. So therefore, according to rule number 1, we have to choose the one with the longest chain to be our parent chain. And the parent chain's name, since there are 4 carbon atoms, so we have but. The bond between these 4 carbon atoms is single bond, so therefore this is just a butane. Ang hindi na isama sa butane, so if this is butane, okay, ang hindi na isama sa pangalan na butane is this part. A methyl group with an oxygen. So therefore, that would be collectively known as methoxy. But to where? Saan siya naka-attach? So therefore, we have to number the butane from left such that this is carbon number 1. Okay, hindi pwedeng from right tayo kasi that would be number 4 na. And we don't like the number 4 because we have to come up with the lowest number. So therefore, this structure will be named as 1-methoxybutane. Still, the rule applies. Dashes will be used to separate word from a number, and there should be no space in between the last name of the substituent and the parent chain. Okay. Another example. So, on the left side of the oxygen, we have this group. Okay. So that's the first R. And on the right side of the oxygen, this one. So we have to choose which one will be the parent chain. So we are choosing this as a parent chain. It has 3 carbon atoms. So dapat continuous, hindi kasama ang methyl group. So the identity of the parent chain, since it has 3 carbon atoms, so it has prop, and the bond are single bond, so therefore that is just propane. Okay, what is not included in the propane, okay, natin. So we previously chose this as a parent chain, and that is the propane. What is not included in the propane are this atom and this group. Okay, so the name of this, or the identity of this, is an ethyl with an oxygen, so therefore that is ethoxy. And this one is methyl, but there's no oxygen, so therefore it is only plain methyl. Numbering it would be from right to left, so this is carbon number 1, carbon number 2, and carbon number 3. To carbon number 1, there is an ethoxy group. So dito naka-attach si ethoxy, so that is 1-ethoxy. Carbon number 2, dyan naka-attach si methyl group, so that is 2-methyl. So therefore, collectively, ang pangalan nito, buong structure ay 1-ethoxy, 2-methyl propane. Still, dashes will separate word from a number. No space in between the last name of the substituent and the parent chain. The whole of this is just one whole word. There's no spaces. Another example. Okay, so on the left side of the this is the oxygen. On the left side, this is the alkyl group. On the right side, this is an alkyl group. So there are both, this alkyl group both possesses 3 carbon atoms. So any of them will be chosen as a parent chain. So if I had chosen this as a parent chain, the rest, this one is the parent chain, that would be named as propane because it has 3 carbon atoms with single bond. 3 is for prop, or prop is for 3, and the AN is for the single bond. What is not included, anong hindi na isama sa propane, is this one. Yan. A propyl group with 3 carbon atoms and an oxygen. And that would be collectively known as propoxy. Ang position ng propoxy is at carbon number 1 if it is going to be numbered from left to right. So this one would be 1-propoxy propane. Okay, another example. So we have to choose the parent chain, and eventually the longest chain is this one. That is propane. What is not included in the propane are this group and that group. They have 1 carbon atom, but their identity are not the same because this carbon atom has 1 oxygen. This doesn't have. So therefore, this is methoxy and this is methyl. Arrange them alphabetically or number first the parent chain. This is carbon number 1 and that's carbon number 2. Methoxy is attached on carbon number 1 and methyl is attached on carbon number 2. So therefore, this is 1-methoxy, 2-methyl propane. Another is, so if this is the oxygen, so we have 2 alkoxy here. So the parent chain is the cyclohexane. The identity of these are methoxy, but there are 2 methoxy and they are attached on carbon number 1 and carbon number 3. Hence, it would be numbered as 1,3-dimethoxy. This is the methoxy attached on carbon number 1 and carbon number 3 of the cyclohexane. Okay. The simplest aromatic ether. The simplest aromatic ether is known as anisole. So anisole, this is a methoxybenzene. So this is the methoxy group and this is the benzene. Methoxybenzene has a special name, anisole. For the properties and uses of ethers, properties, they are volatile, ibig sabihin they could easily evaporate. They are colorless. They are flammable, so they easily catches fire. Usually, they are used as antiseptic. Okay, and diethyl ether is an obsolete anesthetic that are used in hospitals. Hindi na siya ginagamit ngayon. It was obsolete na because it is very flammable because of the very flammable siya, so hindi siya ginagamit na ngayon because of that property. And of course, it also causes, once overdosed with diethyl ether, it causes respiratory paralysis, and which could also result to death. Kasi itong diethyl ether na to, as anesthetics in the hospital during surgery, ang ginagawa nila, pinapa-inhale nila tong diethyl ether. So because it is flammable, so it could easily catch fire, so parang hindi siya magandang gamitin, so it could impose hazard to the user. And also, another reason kung bakit hindi na ginagamit ang diethyl ethers as anesthetics in the hospital is because it is causing, or it would induce euphoria and it could cause respiratory paralysis. So once you inhaled it, it causes euphoria and sedation in the body. Okay? So pero marami ng mga anesthetics na kapalit ng diethyl ether. Now, how do we prepare ethers? We could prepare them through intermolecular dehydration of a primary alcohol. If we could still recall, this is one of the reactions of alcohol, wherein the alcohol would react with another alcohol, and then there's an intermolecular dehydration, wherein the water molecule from these two alcohol. So an OH and an H will be removed from them, such as in order to produce water and an ether. So once the hydroxyl group has been removed from alcohol 1, and hydrogen will be removed from the hydroxyl of alcohol 2, there would now be a free bond. So dito naman magkakaroon ng new bonding such that an ether will be produced, ROR. Okay? Lawan.